Ladies and gentlemen, welcome back to another episode of Strike Force, round 6. Peter, how you doing, mate?
Good, mate. How are you?
I'm good. Obviously, up until 2 a.m. last night playing Red Dead Redemption with you.
Was you? I know, Jesus, just got up.
Yeah, I had a bit of a lie-in this morning as well. Getting a bit out of hand last night. Getting a bit out of hand. Pete, I wanted to talk about UFC fight night on the weekend that just happened. Anthony Smith against Glover Teixeira. I unfortunately saw the result of the main event before I got to watch the card.
How'd you manage that?
Because I'm a fucking idiot. And I was at work and I just opened Facebook because I had a notification. And the first fucking video that come up is Teixeira being interviewed in the cage by DC. And I was like, fuck.
Did you know how though?
No, I didn't. So that's the only result I knew, and I didn't know how. And in my head, I was thinking, "Oh, it's got to be a submission. He must have taken him down." Yeah. How wrong was I? But anyway, we can start with the first fight, which was Villanueva against Chase Sherman, which was the heavyweight one.
Yeah.
Great fight. Like Sherman really started strong. I like the way they called Chase Sherman the Vanilla Gorilla. Great nickname.
Yeah, it's a good one.
It was a great round, and because this card, bruv, was sick, and it really got off to a good start with these two. Great knee in round 2. Yeah, no, definitely. And then right straight dropped him. Chase Sherman dropped him, and the ref stopped it. They said that Chase had returned to the UFC. So has he been in it before?
Yeah, I don't remember him at all. But they said he was in it, and then he went away to, I think it was Island Fights or something. And then that was his first fight back. But I thought the other guys was doing right in the first round.
Exchanges,
bombs, yeah.
Throwing some absolute bombs. But no, it was a really good fight. So congratulations to Chase Sherman on that one. And then the next fight, what I've started to do now, as you can see, is obviously I take notes while I'm watching and try and get a podcast written. And I've learned now to watch the round and then do it in the break, because I was writing for the next fight. Round 1 was really fast paced. Azure was doing really well. And then in round 2, there was a head kick from Brian Kelleher. And then while I was typing on my phone, I heard boom. And I looked up and I was like, fuck, I basically missed the knockout. Like, it's so quick. So
there's always something about, like, as well, I didn't have no sort of presumptions going into the fight. I didn't really know either of them. I've seen that Keller before.
Mm-hmm.
But I think he looked across the cage at that, what's his name? Elio or Azure? I can't remember his name.
Yeah, Hunter Azure, that's it. Yeah, he looked across the cage as if to say, like, going to touch gloves, and Gage's just like, no, like, fuck it. Immediately I'm rooting for that Keller. Mate, it was a lovely head kick, and then it was that left hook, wasn't it? Just banged him out.
Jump 2 hammer fists on the floor, bosh.
Yeah, amazing. Yeah, hammer fist while he's down, and he was out. So Brian Kelleher, obviously that's in the featherweight division there, so a possible contender for that crown. We spoke about it last episode, but I'm excited about that division, man. I think they've got to do Holloway Volkanovski. You said that before, and then we'll see what happens. What do you think to the rematch of those two?
What, Holloway and Volkanovski? I don't know, man. Maybe I don't know. Maybe I wouldn't say he's done, but he's had a couple of bit of like dodgy losses, isn't it? Even in fights that he should have, like the fights that he's good at, them sort of grinding out against, especially like, I know he went up against Poirier, didn't he? That was lightweight.
Mm-hmm.
But like, yeah, he just sort of, in fights that he's usually good in, them like 3 or like 5 round wars, he's not doing too well in. But I think Volkanovski's like legit as well. When he says he doesn't get nervous, he doesn't get scared, and he loves fighting. It's just like, you can just see it. Like, he just doesn't have like no nerves, nothing. It's just straight down to business.
Yeah, absolutely. His hands as well, bruv. Like, his boxing is sick.
Yeah,
so
yeah. For his size as well. Like,
exactly.
I think he'd have like all his disadvantages, but
mad. We'll see what happens there. The next fight was a lightweight fight. It was Gabriel Benitez against Omar Morales. Now, this one was one of the most exciting fights of the evening. Round 1, they started talking to each other, shouting at each other. It was a great head kick from Morales and massive shots from Benitez. Really good exchanges. And then in round 2 again, bruv, with the no crowd, you can hear them shouting at each other.
No, yeah. You can hear like everything. Even the punches sound a bit more like vicious. It's just, and you can tell who's the harder hitter as well. Sometimes, maybe not in that fight, they were quite even, but in certain fights, you can hear like one of the guys is just like, his punches just sound like they're fucking painful, like spiteful. Yeah. So when I was watching, like, it's like watching a street fight. I can't watch street fights on YouTube and shit. It makes me feel sick.
Really?
Maybe that's why. Maybe if there was a crowd.
Kimbo style. It's funny that you know, you're not, obviously it means that, you know, your threshold for violence might not be great, but you are into the most violent sport, bruv. Like,
it's not, I don't know what it is. It's not even maybe it's because there's no ref there and you'd like, once someone's like something, I just don't like watching that shit. It's just, you don't know what's going to happen, like, and someone could run in from out the angle and kick someone in the head. It's just like, with this, at least you got
it's a controlled environment.
Unless it's Keith Peterson. Sorry.
Mate, what is going on? He's been getting involved in Twitter beef with Dominic Cruz. Like, I don't understand what's going on.
As if he's got Twitter. What did he say? He said, he posted up the picture of him with his face all like fucked after the knee. And he was like, "This is what you look like." Blah blah blah. I can't remember what he said after. I don't know. It's funny though.
He posted a video of Cruz up as well, and he was like, "I was trying to protect you from getting brain damage and all this shit, I think, or something like that as well." It's like, fucking mate, like, I don't know if it's
take that well.
Do you think it can't be it must be him? It's not a fake account, is it?
I have no idea. No, I'm not sure. That must be. But it's like, it was funny because. We'll come to it in a bit. Obviously, one of the other fights was quite funny with him reffing.
Yes, correct. With the Benitez Morales fight, again, just love hearing them shouting at each other. But then at the end of round 2, they caught. There were so many brutal leg kicks, and then they caught a shot of Benitez's shin, and it was just bleeding out. Like you could see the blood going down to his foot and stuff like that. But I'd say this was a really, really close fight. And then great exchanges in round 3 again. Again, Morales getting some great shots back. It was funny because Morales was, every time Benitez kicked him in the stomach, he was kicking him back. Every time he'd throw a right hook, he was doing it. He was trying to get a shot back every single time. And it's just mad how, like, I love the way DC notices shit like that. What a fight it was. Omar Morales with the win, and then, bruv, at the end of the fight, just that close-up of his shit.
Yeah, no, I think they did show another one before that. Not the one of them putting a cotton swab in it, but there was another one of them just, like, zooming in, and I was like, fuck, because I noticed it. I don't know when it happened, because I noticed the blood sort of in round 2, maybe like halfway through on his foot. So I don't know whether it was at the end. It might have been going from round 1. I don't know. It just got worse, but... fuck that.
It's horrible. Fucking horrible. And then Paul Felder...
I'll be tapping.
Paul Felder on commentary was like, "Ladies and gentlemen, that is a shin bone," just in case you were wondering. It's like,
what's that cotton swab doing as well? Fucking hell. For cleaning your ears out.
Yeah. Mate, I need stitches, for fuck's sake.
I know, get a towel or something.
Absolutely horrendous injury there. Hopefully Gabriel Benitez's shin does get better. The next one was the female bantamweight fight between Sijara Eubanks and Sarah Morash. Remember this one, Pete?
Yeah, it's just like, even from the beginning that Eubanks just had like more. We keep saying it, don't we? Just them fighters have got more snap in their punches and stuff. And she was just like, she was just sort of. I didn't have no doubts really.
A very, very one-sided fight from Sijara Eubanks there in the bantamweight division. I completely.
I swear there was a little funny moment at the end as well. Was there a bit of funny moment at the end of round 3?
The only thing that happened, I can remember at the end of round 3, there was the armbar attempt from her. I remember.
Maybe that was it, and then, or maybe she didn't let go quick enough or something. And then they got up and were still giving it up. It's just like, I can give it a rest.
You could just hear him shouting. That was actually the end of the prelims there. And then on the main card, we had first fight was Michael Johnson against Thiago Moises. Bruv, I don't know really, like, Michael Johnson, I thought started really, really well. I was getting excited.
I thought he was, I was like, he just come out so sharp. It's probably the sharpest I've seen him. Just like aggressive and that, landing in combos. I was like, oh, okay, this other guy is like one of them. Like he don't know what he's doing striking wise, but he might be good at submissions. But I was like, you can't rely on that. Yeah. And then fucking round 2, just like boom, straight out. That's That's what Tony should have done against Justin. No, that striking bollocks.
Straight submission. It's very, very rare that you see something like that where you have a first round where, you know, one striker. I literally have here that it's been all Michael Johnson so far in round one, and by the end, you know, it was a 10-9 round easily. And then at the beginning of round two, Moises jumped straight into a single leg, straight into a leg lock, and just tapped him out. It's just incredible.
It was wicked, wasn't it? It was so like, but obviously he did tap first. You saw like there was like maybe 2 taps on the leg, and Michael Johnson winced, and then maybe he thought. I think the guy was just readjusting his position though to get a tighter hold on it.
Yeah,
fucking Peterson's just looking like shit. Do I stop it? He's probably a bit worried really because of what happened with Dominic Cruz. He's like, oh, I'll let this go a little bit. But end up fucking his leg up.
yeah, well done. His leg's broken. There was an incident like because Michael Johnson sort of tapped, and then Keith Peterson sort of ran in, didn't stop it. And then Michael Johnson sort of looked at him and then tapped again, like, bruv, this hurts.
Maybe he did. Maybe the other guy felt the tap, let it loose a little bit, and then was like, no, fuck it. But even before that, like, I think Johnson had his fingers in the cage, like, about 3 times in a row. And he was like, you see him, like, pouring at it, but then he was, like, staring at it. He's like, is his fingers in there? And then obviously he made it verbal. He's like, get your fingers out the cage. It's like, fucking hell.
He's got double vision, innit? He can't see. He's blurry.
Yeah. Fucking hell. Yeah.
Oh man, that's never going to go away now. Do you know what?
I feel bad for him, but I had other people messaging me going. One of my mates was like, "He looks like my Irish uncle when he's drunk. Like his face is bright red. He's stumbling." And I was like, "Jesus Christ!"
Oh no, bless him. Do you know what this is going to be like? Do you remember when Alex Ferguson? He was. I can't remember if it was a match with. It might have been even been West Ham, but Alan Wiley. He was a ref, and he said that he couldn't keep up with a match. And then just stuck with that ref for the rest of his career. It's always like, oh, he's looking a bit chunky. He can't keep up with play. Like, it's not fair.
Sub him off.
But yeah, no, that was a great fight, great performance from Thiago Moises. So we'll see what's next for him in the lightweight division. Then we had Andrei Arlovski, brother, against big Philip Lintz. Good exchanges in the early rounds. Really, really heavy exchanges in round 2. Linz was looking good, but a performance from Arlovski, mate. Yeah,
he switched it up, didn't he? I was a bit worried that first round because I think he's one of them fighters now. I know he's getting on a bit. I wouldn't say his chin's gone, but like he's not the same as what he used to. You know, when like Vanderlei used to be like an animal. Yes. Well, he still was at the end, but like he could take it as well. He could just put his bite on his gum shield, swing for the fences, and they usually come out on top. Whereas towards their end of their careers, especially like Arlovski in the beginning, you see this other geezer's hand speed, and Arlovski like backs off like, oh, shit, I can't get into an exchange with this guy. Mm-hmm. It's weird seeing fighters like that. But he mixed it up well. Kept switching, didn't he? Switched southpaw, throwing the left kick, which was working, I think. But he done well.
It was watching sort of, you know, the promising upcomer who's won tournaments in other organisations to get to heavyweight titles and stuff like that, and then just coming and seeing an old wily veteran knowing how to control the fight. Yeah, that's it. Don't get too cocky, youngster. The young ball was outdone this time. I was over the moon for Arlovski, man, because I know he's been fighting. He's been fighting since literally I was a kid, pretty much.
Oh, yeah, that could set up some good ones as well, especially like heavyweight.
So we'll see. Excited for that there, bruv. And then we had one of the fights of the night for me, Ricky Simón against Ray Borg. I say it was a fight of the night. I'd say it was pretty one-sided. Ricky Simón doing really, really well. There were some classic moments in this. There was a bit when DC said, Ricky Simón is so big for a bantamweight, and then he flexed.
Oh, yeah. So fun. I wondered what, like, it's weird, isn't it? I'd be so self-conscious if I was a commentator. Like, I'd be trying to keep it a bit low after, because you don't want to, like, be biased and be one-sided, because when the crowd's there, it doesn't really matter. Yeah. But if someone's down, then you got DC or Joe Rogan going, all he has to do here is push the hip away and blah, blah, blah. It's almost like like you're helping the other guy out. It's a bit weird.
But their corner should be doing that anyway, really. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah, no, of course, yeah.
It was interesting to hear some dynamics between the commentators talking and the trainers talking, and then the commentators. There was also a bit. We'll come on to it, but like in Anthony Smith's fight, his corner was just continuously shouting.
I'd hate that so much. Like, I think it happened. Mike Perry come out, didn't he? Fucking cracks me up. He's like, he's like this. He's like, all I can hear is go, go, go. He's like, you fucking go. I don't want to get knocked out. It's so true. It's like you get in there and just fucking bum rush the guy. It's like, yeah, I'd hate that. So you'd want a little bit, like give him some advice, and then give him 30 seconds to a minute. If he hasn't followed that advice, give it a bit more, change it up a little bit, give him some encouragement, not like just. Yes, like, and I swear all of them was doing it as well. It's like 3 or 4 guys just shouting.
Chaos.
Yeah, stupid.
Really, really annoying.
What do we know?
Yeah, true. Yeah. Never had a fight in my life.
Got James Krause in the corner, fucking UFC.
For this fight, though, Ricky Simone, it was a great performance. Ray Borg did have some moments in it, but Ricky Simone coming into round 3 had 7 takedowns in the fight, and yeah, it was a split decision, which was, again, some of these decisions are getting a bit crazy. Yeah,
I thought it was. I thought if he took the takedowns out of it, even though he done quite well scrambling to try and get back up and that, like, obviously Simone was a better wrestler, but there was something about that Ray Borg's punches. I know it's like it's one of his first fight back in it since the incident, but yeah, his hands were like, especially in the 3rd round when he was landing that body shot as well, I was like, Jesus Christ, he's got, like, his boxing was red hot.
Technique.
I think if the takedowns weren't an issue, it would have been a lot closer. But yeah, that Ricky Simone was a fucking monster at that division.
He looks really, 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 really good in that division. So we'll see what happens there. He's obviously saying that, he's coming off 2 losses, but the losses that he was coming off to, you got, what a UFC Hall of Famer and an ex-world champ. So it's it's nothing really to be ashamed of. But yeah, so great performance from Ricky Simone, and hopefully Ray Borg can still go on and get some fights. Good fighter there. And next we had Drew Dober against Alexander Hernandez in the lightweight division. This was a big finish, for Drew Dober. Hernandez started well. It was a close fight, but yeah, Dober, mate, just absolutely battered him.
Mate, it was so funny because it finished in round 1. And I'm sitting there like trying to judge it and that. I'll send you the video after this, but I was like, he didn't exactly do like this, but I was like, he was throwing too many like single shots and he weren't throwing his right hand enough, I think. And that Hernandez kept circling off to Drew Dober's right hand. And I was like, all he's got to do is throw a right hook to sort of corner him, to sort of like cut him off from the cage, and then throw the left after it, and it will land better. And he's done it about 3 times. I was like, yes. I sent you the video afterwards. So
Mystic Pete coming back, mate. We need to get you in some of these fighters' corners, mate. Jesus Christ.
I know. Just have me sitting in the crowd.
Quality. Some great fight breakdowns. I love it. We know what we're doing. Next fight was the co-main event of the evening, I guess, or penultimate to the main event. It was OSP against Rothwell. What did you think of this performance, bro? From OSP, first of all.
I thought the whole fight. Yeah, I thought the whole fight was like it was just strangely entertaining. One, because you just couldn't. You had to be switched on throughout the whole fight because anything could happen. But just the way I don't know, he technically was running, but he was just getting out of the way and then setting himself again, and then fighting, and then getting out of danger because he was getting up against the cage. It wasn't really like he was running away the whole time, but and then to be honest, I think I thought he did land like the bigger shots, like the ones that could have finished the fight. When he started getting into his groove and he was throwing him just looping left hands, I think that was the one that hurt him, wasn't it? It was
end of round 2. Yeah,
end of round 2. That was it. Yeah. That was probably the biggest moment of the fight. But yeah, maybe he needs to just get used to it, putting on all that extra weight, and then he's like moving like that as well. It wasn't just like they were just standing there sort of pouring at each other. He was getting, and he's got the whole weight of Rothwell as well up against the cage. That was like a good move on his part.
Yeah. There was, at the end of round 3, though, obviously the fight finished and there was a late flurry from OSP and Rothwell went down after the bell. So it was interesting because the fight, I mean, technically, if the fight was still going, that would have been a big knockdown. And,
what's all this bullshit people say as well? Like whoever's winning at the end of the fight.
No,
if that was a real fight, then that's how it would have gone. It's like what?
No.
So the first 2 rounds don't count for shit.
The whole point is that it's under controlled environment. It's not really.
It's just like,
it's not. We all go home afterwards and take our ball and that.
I know it doesn't make sense. Yeah. Just let him carry on. Fucking
So funny.
45 minutes later.
That's it. No rounds. Everyone's bleeding. OSP though, yeah, I think with his first step up into heavyweight, it's not as if he looked out of depth though against a really, really experienced heavyweight in Big Ben Rothwell. I don't think he looked out of place though. What is it? Do you think he'll stay up there now? Do you think he'll go back down?
But yeah, it's a strange. I haven't heard him say why. Like, I don't know whether he was struggling to make 205. It didn't. I don't think it ever seemed like it. But maybe he's just got to that point where he knows he can't. Maybe he can't. But then again, fucking hell, if you can't beat John Jones and win the title, then it's going to be hard going up and beating them guys.
Exactly.
Fucking maybe he's just he's got to that point in his career. He's still making money, and he's just like, I don't want to cut the weight. But he could still have some. He could still have some good fights. Like there's still 100%. Some fight. Like imagine OSP against Arlovski or something like that. Or
yes, exactly. He does set up some good fights, and I think now that he's had that first fight, because the thing is, you've got to train your body differently. I know it's not a lot of weight, but you know, think about Conor when he went to 170 against Nate, having to make that change, and people's bodies have to adapt to it. Did you see on the Michael Jordan documentary, on The Last Dance? We've been obviously balls deep in this documentary, as most of the world has at the moment. But when he started playing baseball, his coach changed his into a baseball body. And then he went back to basketball, and his coach was like, right, now we've got to craft your body into a basketball body. Yeah. It's just, mate, some of these athletes, what they do is incredible.
I know, it's just different, isn't it? Especially, and obviously this is his first fight at heavyweight, but he's been doing it in a fucking coronavirus training camp as well. It's not been normal. So it's not been normal for any of these guys. So it's got to be like a big change as well.
100%. Yeah, so great decision there from Big Ben. Great performance and the correct decision. And then, bruv, finally we had the main event of Anthony Smith against Glover Teixeira. Bruv, talk to me about this fight.
Yeah, it was sick. I thought I thought Smith started off so well. He looked so aggressive.
Looking
almost
great
like that's what I mean. I didn't really notice the corner because he was doing so well, and I was just like, man, maybe he can do this for 5 rounds. He looked in banging shape. But then it was just like he was putting everything into like every right hand, just chasing him all over the ring. It's just like then it started to get a bit worrying. Like round 2, it was like if he can't get him out of there, then this is a bad move. And then I think the further it went on, and then Glover just started getting into his boxing. It was fucking incredible. Red hot. It was so good. He looked in banging shape as well. It's probably the best shape I've seen him in.
It was just incredible watching it, to see a 40-year-old man against a much younger man, just absolutely putting the hurt on him. Like from round 2 onwards, like you say, absolutely rocked. He hurt him bad. It could have been stopped in round 3 to be honest.
I thought it was a good. He let it go on when he let it go on. Was it Herzog, wasn't it?
Yeah, it was Herzog.
Yeah, when he let it go on, I was like, oh man, that's really good reffing. He's still in there and he's still defending himself, moving. He's moving when he's getting asked to, basically. Like, he just done enough, and I was like, oh, maybe he can come back out and recoup, but he just never did.
The thing is, rounds 3 and 4 were easily a 10-8 round. I wanted to ask you what you thought about stoppages and stuff like that. Like, do you feel like, because DC and Felder were getting into it a little bit, and do you feel like his corner have a responsibility to pull him out? Do you feel like he still had an opportunity to win the fight? Or do you just feel like when a fighter's get in that position, you can see a fight going a certain way, it's important to take him out to kind of save his career for the long term? What are your thoughts on stoppages?
Yeah, definitely. I don't know how much Herzog was asking him. I think after every round, obviously, on his way back to the corner, he was like, "Are you all right?" But I think he probably wasn't getting much out of him at that point. He probably not thinking about that. But when he sat down at that end of that round, and he was like, "My teeth are falling out." It's like you don't. even people that do have injuries, that even sounded a bit weird. Like he's not really thinking straight. All he's thinking about is my mouth's full of blood. My teeth are like, my gum shield's not fitting in properly. I'm not safe. And his corner was just like, yeah. So what you need to do is like, what? Like he doesn't want to hear this shit. It's just pull him out. It's fucking ridiculous. I know he's come out afterwards and said, "Look, everyone, don't worry about me. I'm injured, but like I'm fine. Like it was my choice or whatever." It's just like, nah. Like either the ref should have stepped in, or at least get the doctor to come in and have a look at him. But for them to just start barking orders again, it's like it's almost like an ego thing. They were so like, "Oh, we've got to tell him to do exactly what to do. He's got to follow the game plan. He can't lose." It's like, even though he's telling you he's like his teeth are fucking just falling out. You're just like, and it was fucking shit advice as well. Like, go up the middle. You're going wide, so you need to come in with uppercuts. It's like, oh yeah, against Glover, that's a really good idea. Come in with uppercuts. Jesus Christ.
They need you in the corner, Pete. Tell them
I
what.
know.
Yeah.
Poor son's just been getting uppercutted for like the last 10 minutes. Fucking teeth hanging out, and you're telling him to go in an uppercut with the guy. But even when he come out for that 5th round, it was like he was barely holding his hands up, and he was like swaying. It was just, even then, it weren't good.
It wasn't fun to watch. There was a bit of, well, it was quite fun, but yeah, it was a bit.
That's fun.
Towards the end, it gets a bit much. It gets a bit much. But there was a bit where, like, I saw Glover going in. He looked like he could have finished him, and he kept going in for the level change. And I was thinking,
yeah,
oh, mate.
Yeah, or even on the floor, like them fights. Obviously, them fights that get stopped, and they're not even they're going about 30%, but they're just going bang, 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 bang. But he could have just kept doing that while he was down. But he didn't. He kept stopping and then going. I think he felt sorry for him, and then he's going for the submission, couldn't get that, so he goes back to like hitting him a few times. I was like, man, just fucking. Sometimes it is just stop it. Like you can tell when a good stoppage from like, what the hell are you doing? I wasn't even hurt.
Yeah, absolutely. You can. But I don't know, man. I feel like fighters, I think they're too tough for their own good sometimes. So that's when I think the corner should come in and be like, look, I just, he's overwhelming you,
Yeah, just ask him, yeah.
Yeah, just talk to him and just say, listen, I know you want to go out on your shield, but do you, I would say to the fighter, like, do you feel like you can pull something back? And I know their ego is probably going to say, yeah, but, you got to be realistic about it, I think.
Or just ask him, like, because obviously at that moment his mind's probably all over the place. Just ask him something simple like, Anthony, what's one way you can win this fight? And if he doesn't answer and just says, I don't think I can, then like pull him out. Or if he's like, man, I've got one more shot in me, just let me try, give me 30 seconds or something like that. Or yeah, to be honest, the more I think about it, the more it pisses me off.
This campaign to get you as a trainer, mate. I'm getting on this train.
Give him a just fucking ask. How hard is it to go? Look, man, you've given 4 rounds. You've done a fucking great job. Like you just said, how are your teeth really that fucked? Like, how you feeling? Do you want to go out there? Yes or no? Either way, it doesn't matter. Like, it's fucking hard. Like someone like I've got a feeling someone like Trevor Whitman, who we were saying the other day, Trevor Whitman or Faraz Sahabi would ask someone like that. They'd be like, "How you feeling? Can you cope with this? Like, you got another 5 minutes with this guy, and you're getting fucking battered."
Yeah, 100%.
Be honest, isn't it? Like,
yeah, that's it. Just be honest. And again, because it's not as if it's not. This isn't as though it's a sport where, like tennis, where the only thing you're going to get out of it is obviously maybe long-term knee injuries and ligament injuries. This is brain trauma. This is like, cause a long-term thing of Alzheimer's and stuff like that. So it's like, I feel like, they do have an obligation to their fighter. Again, what do we fucking know? Never been in a fight. Anyway, so let's, but again, I just want to finish off by saying how good Teixeira looked, and the fact that he's 40 and he's still doing that. As I said, I saw the result. I saw that he'd won. I'm expecting a submission, and I see he's overwhelming him. Joe Rogan did a long post about how impressed he was with Teixeira's performance. For anyone saying that he might be done or over the hill, he's doing all right. He's doing all right.
Yeah, I'm not sure if he's like ever going to win. Like, I don't see him ever beating John Jones, but he could still go in there with like top contenders, I think.
Exactly, and it's all about having exciting fights and maybe even put, it's about those knockout bonuses and those performance bonuses, stuff like that. Titles aren't the only thing there sometimes. So as long as he can hopefully create some buzz and still go the way he's going, he'll make some good money. Right, let's just quickly, coming close to the end, just quickly preview this upcoming fight. So now we have more fights on Saturday, Pete. We just fight after fight.
Tomorrow.
Cannot wait.
I'm not literally not sick of it at all.
Oh, no way. Absolutely not. I can't wait. I'm loving live sport, and I'd be excited about this month's UFC anyway, but the fact that because it's there's no other sport at the moment. A lot of people
I know this is our Euros. There ain't no Euros, so we got this every 3 days.
Exactly. 100%. I'll obviously stop me. I'll just quickly run through the prelims first of all. A few fighters that I'll be lying if I said that I knew their life story. We've got first fight Rodrigo Ferreira against Dontale Mace. We've got Darren Elkins, who obviously we are aware of, back. He's fighting Nate Laundua. It's a featherweight fight. And yeah, Darren Elkins is coming off 3 losses, Pete.
Oh, no.
So he's got to step it up, really.
Yeah, it's not good, is it?
No, it's not good.
He's good. Like, he's game, but he's just see what he can do the weekend.
Before that, though, he was on a 6-fight win streak. His last win was against Michael Johnson, who we mentioned before, getting leg locked. We've got his last 3 fights that he's lost: Volkanovski, Ricardo Lamas, and Ryan Hall. So no, just anybody fighters. Do you know what I mean? So Darren Elkins, we're always excited to see him. So we'll see what happens there. We've got Courtney Casey against Mara Barella. We've got Mike Davis against Kiga Chikadze. We've got Anthony Hernandez against Kevin Holland. And then, Pete, the main card of the prelims, we've got the immortal Matt Brown against Miguel Baeza. So this fight is going ahead then, it looks like.
It looks, I've not seen nothing come up. But it's weird, it's still on the website, it's still on Bet365. It's just for some reason on the website, the guy's thingy bob was greyed out. And then maybe... it's not. Oh, no, maybe there was something...
I've got it here.
Maybe there was an issue before because he did actually get, he wasn't on the betting apps, he wasn't on nothing like about a week ago. So maybe it's something they just had to sort out. Maybe they didn't think one of them was going to make it or something. But yeah, I'm so happy for that.
We'll see what happens. That is in the welterweight division, obviously. Like I say, this is another one, Pete, where, I don't expect, and obviously, hopefully, I eat these words one day, but I'm not expecting Matt Brown to go on a mad title challenge here and to go on a hunt down for the title and to take down people like Usman and Masvidal and that kind of stuff. But I love to see Matt Brown fight, and he loves to fight. So I want, there's no reason why.
I think it's weird though. I think he's getting better. Like he's had a couple of losses that could have gone his way. I was in Thailand with Slee for his fight against Cerrone.
Yes.
And that was like, he was winning that fight, I thought. He was bashing Cerrone, and then like third round gets caught with that head kick. Yeah. If he'd have got through that, he would have like propelled himself up. Oh, I've just beat Cowboy, like in his prime. It's just like, and even his last fight when was it Ben Saunders, I think.
Yes.
Come back against Ben Saunders. And he looked like, and it was like having trouble with that range and stuff. And he's just like, fuck this. He's that sort of guy. He just keeps on you.
Yeah.
Like bites down on the gum shield and just has it.
And they're the fighters I love. I love the way before he steps into the cage, it just lets out that fucking roar, and it's just like, it just gives me goosebumps, shit like that. As Pete mentioned, we've got his Immortal's last fight was against Ben Saunders. Then he was against Diego Sanchez. That elbow we talked about earlier.
Jesus, no.
Dropped him, and then Diego sort of falls face first, into the ground. It's just fucking incredible.
It was before that.
Then he lost to Cerrone, as you mentioned.
Oh, that was okay.
And then before that, 2 losses against Jake Ellenberger and Damian Maia, but he did beat Tim Means before that. So out of his last 5 fights, he's got 3 losses and 2 wins. So, bruv, we'll see. It's exciting.
Oh man, yeah. If he wins at the weekend, imagine that could even like Pettis set up a welterweight fight against Pettis. That'd be a sick fight.
Absolutely. I love the way you think.
I'd love to be a matchmaker. I'd just be on the phone all day. Just like, come on, please fight this guy.
Please fight this guy. Well, we need to get you as a trainer first, and then we can talk about the matchmaking after that. We'll see.
I'll do all of it. I'll give Connor a ring, see if he can get me in there.
Moving on to the main card, again, nothing to really spend too much time talking about. I just feel like I want to see the fights, and I'm just enjoying reviewing everything that's happening afterwards. But it's nice to do a little preview. The first fight on the main card is in the featherweight division, again a stacked division. We've got Song Yudong, who's ranked number 14, against Marlon Vera, ranked number 15. So we'll see what happens there. We've got Eric, your boy Anders, against Christoph Shotko in the middleweight division. Let's have a look at Eric Anders. So Anders is coming off 2 wins against Gerald Mearshart and Vinicius Moreira. He did lose 3 in a row before that against Thiago Santos and Elias Theodju and Khalil Roundtree. So the fighters that he's lost to, not bad, and he's coming off 2 wins. So we'll see what happens here.
Yeah, that should be a good one.
Yotko's won his last 2 as well. So both fighters coming off a good run there. So we'll see what happens there. That'll be really, really exciting. Again, in the middleweight division, stacked. Featherweight division, next we've got Dan Ige against Edson Barboza, bruv. I know you're excited for this one.
Fucking hell, it's all featherweights, isn't it?
Yeah.
Last couple of weeks. That'd be sick. That'd be such a good fight. It'd be good to see Barboza at featherweight.
Yeah, it'd be interesting.
His first fight?
I think it might be.
Yeah,
It's normally lightweight,
he's going to look fucking... ripped. Jesus Christ. It'll be interesting.
Yeah, because I'm
Especially
hoping he doesn't look gaunt. I'm hoping he doesn't look...
especially chin-wise as well, because he's been in some wars, and cutting all that weight, it might go quite badly for him. But then again, we'll see.
Well, we'll see what happens. To be fair, with Edson Barboza, he's coming off 2 losses. He did beat Dan Hooker, but his last 5 fights, mate, he's only got 1. He's lost 4 of his last 5. You know, not against any slouches. He's lost to Khabib, Kevin Lee, Paul Felder, and Justin Gaethje. So, you know, that's how stacked the lightweight division. So he's thinking, do you know what? Fuck this. I'll get out of here and I'll change up a little bit. So we'll see what happens. Some of the nastiest kicks in the UFC. But he's fighting no slouch in Dan Ige, bruv. He's coming off a 6-fight win streak. And yeah, we'll see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry, 5-fight win streak.
What's his last couple? Sorry.
He's got coming off of wins against Masad Bektic was his last one.
Okay.
And then Kevin Aguilar as well. And then Danny Henry, Jordan Griffin, and Mike Santiago. So that's this fight. I'm really excited for it. I'm really, really excited for it to see what happens there. Then we've got Claudia Godella against Angela Hill. That's in the women's strawweight division.
Yeah, that'd be sick. That'd be a really good fight.
That'd be a really good fight. I saw Angela's last fight as well, so she looked really, really impressive. So we'll see what happens there. And then finally, the main event of the evening, Peter, is Alistair Overeem against Walt Harris. Always exciting to see Overeem. What do you think about this one?
I'd like to just see Walt Harris do it just for him coming back to the UFC and stuff. It'd be nice. It'd be shit for him to come back and get banged out. Plus, I think he's like up and coming as well.
Yeah.
But how long has he been out? It's been out.
So the last time Harris fought was July last year. So he's been out basically nearly a year. But he beat Olenek in his last fight, and then also beat Spivak as well.
Overeem's last one, the cut lip.
Yeah, against Rosenstruik. Yep.
Oh, fucking hell. Get that back open again. Imagine that first shot.
You know what though, Pete? That was only December, bruv. That's the thing, see?
It's mad, did it? Did you see like when they put up the picture of a week later, like it just healed, like straight away? It's like fucking Wolverine. Wolverine?
It's Wolverine. I love that.
Wolf, I didn't even say that. That's a good one.
There you
Wolverine.
Go. Alistair Wolverine. Yes, mate. We'll see what happens. To be fair to Overeem, though, you know, people would, you know, you'll see a lot of videos of his knockout against Ngannou. He lost his next fight to Curtis Blaydes after that as well, but he did win his next 2 after that against Pavlovich and Alexei Olenek, and then obviously got his lip bust by Rosenstruik.
Oh, he's probably kicking himself after watching that Ngannou fight. He's like, fuck, I could have beat that guy as well. And
do you know what? He's probably kicking himself after the Rosenstruik fight because he was winning that fight, Pete.
That's what I mean. So like he's probably looking at that thinking Overeem Ngannou's just smashed him, and all I had to do was last another like 10 seconds. Yeah,
exactly.
But then again, he's probably thinking, I don't want to fight Ngannou again.
Exactly. Well, the thing is, you know, people say they have this card where it's like in wrestling they call it your bump card, where it's like you can only take a certain amount of punishment. And with Overeem, he's had so many fights, he's been through so many wars. You just have to think, right, does that start to add up over a little while? Like if I just go to his record, 64 professional bouts, 45 wins with 18 losses, it's just so much. It's so many wars, Pete.
Do you reckon that was a weird stoppage? I watched it again the other day. I just saw like the highlights of that, just the knockout, and it was sort of like a walk away knockout. You know, like what Mark Hunt used to do. So he didn't follow up on him, but there was like only a couple of seconds left or something. But he wasn't out. I don't think he was out. Like he hit the cage and then he was just sitting there. But then he started rolling forward to like get back to his feet. And I was just like, there wasn't no follow up for him. If that guy had come in and maybe landed a couple of shots and then the ref stopped it. But I'll have to watch it again. I just thought it was almost like the ref went, "Oh, that was such a good shot. We'll stop the fight."
Do you know what? I'm really not a fan of the. Actually, no, I won't say I'm not a fan of it. The walk away knockout for me, like Mark Hunt did it so well because when Mark Hunt walked off, they were fucking knocked out.
Yeah, like out cold. Like,
they were done.
This was just maybe the ref saw his lip. Maybe he saw as he was sitting there, he probably went, "Oh shit, like, I've got to stop this." Like before he takes some more damage, I guess. But if he'd have given it a couple more seconds, he would have won the fight. Like if it had gone the whole 5 rounds.
Interesting. You're not wrong. You're not wrong. It's interesting.
But,
See, the thing is, it's such a game of fine margins. That's why, you know, I get a bit worried when they leave it in the judges' hands sometimes and that kind of stuff. It's a game of chess, but with dire consequences, as they say. So, you know, we'll see what happens, man. I prefer,
yeah.
If you're walking away from someone getting knocked out, I want to see them knocked out. Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
So I think you should carry on fighting. I was watching the top 5 Strike Force knockouts earlier, and DC was in it when he knocked out Bigfoot Silver. And even though Bigfoot Silver was out, you still get the hammer fist sometimes, and it's like it's just to confirm, like the ref needs to step in now and stop this.
Like sometimes they don't, like you can look in hindsight afterwards and think they don't need it. Like what's his name? The one you said you missed this weekend, Kelleher, whatever his name is.
Brian Kelleher, yeah.
Yeah, like them 2 hammer fists, they weren't needed because the guy was out. He was probably out cold already. But like, you got to do it.
Yeah, mate. It's as Masvidal would say, those are super necessary.
Oh yeah, of course, yeah. That's this big.
Yeah, mate. Yeah, shouts to Dan Henderson. Listen, Pete, really excited for this weekend's fight, mate, and I'm loving all the UFC at the moment. So yeah, we'll see what happens. I'm sure we'll reconvene afterwards.
You're going to stay out this time?
I don't think I am. I don't think I am.
Get that alarm set.
That's it. I need to get that alarm set. I think maybe this time I need to remember not to start drinking. But anyway, as long as we watch
no social media.
That's it.
No social media.
Get off my fucking phone, bloody millennial. All right, Pete. Thanks very much, mate. And thanks very much for listening to this. You can catch us on YouTube and Instagram now as well, just while we're in pandemic, because we're not doing this shit in person. So feel free to watch up on there as well. Pete, we'll catch up afterwards, mate.
Yeah, catch you later.
Laters.